Well, hello again everybody and welcome back to Fujit's Blitz. Now, this time I've decided not to subject you to my rather mediocre gameplay. Instead, I've managed to persuade some of the kind regulars on the EU forum to supply me with some of their replays. Now, if you would also like to be a contributor, please send an email to me with the data file of your replay to fujitsblitz@gmail.com. Exactly the same email address is up on the screen, and I would love to showcase your clips too. I have a bit of a confession. Unfortunately, there are no clips of the Chieftain Mark VI. It's just that I'm English and I just love and adore that camo. And I think it makes an ideal imperfect backdrop. So anyway, without further ado, first off we have Soul Trader in the T-44. Now the T-44 is an amazing tank. It's got a great turn of speed, and for a tier 8 tank it's one of the best. Here's the armor profile against another tier 8, and as you can see, that sloped armor at the front is pretty good. It's not got the best armor in the world. Up against another tier 8, you can see the turret there, especially the gun mantle, it's pretty difficult to pen, although the armor profile isn't the best. Anyway, as we can see, Soul Trader gets right to it. He's getting into the thick of the action as soon as the whistle blows, so to speak. Unfortunately, he gets a bounce. Now, the good thing about the T-44 is that its mobility is pretty darn good, and it dishes out a fair amount of damage, which, if you put in the Top Gun, is going to be 400 with an 18-second reload, or if you go for the second to Top Gun, is going to be 280 with an 8-second reload. Now, that 280 is the third best in this tier for a medium tank. Now, as we can see from the clip, Soul Trader is gone with the second to Top Gun. So he's getting his alpha rolls at 280, which is really good for a tier 8 medium tank. And he's also using that T-44's armor profile to the best of its ability. He's showing that upper glacier plate, which is really tough, and the turret. And if you turn the turret on the side, it's equally as tough to penetrate. So he's using the armor profile and the cover to the best of his advantage. And he's playing the tank exactly how it should be played. He's right up there on the front line, and he's going to pop this IS-3 as it comes around the corner. It's just, this is exactly how you should play this tank. And because this tank is an all-rounder, it's fast, it's mobile, it's got a great rate of fire and does out really good damage. This, in my opinion, is the best medium at tier 8. Yes, there are faster tanks. Yes, there are better armored, but this has it all in one little package. And as you can see here, we're already 2 minutes into the game. Soul Trader so far hasn't got a single scratch. He's been up there right on the front line, and he's taken out 2 tanks and dished out 1,291 damage. And he hasn't shied away from getting involved, and this is the glorious thing about the T-44. It really is a medium bully. And still, he's having a pop. He's still getting up there, raining fire on those other red tanks to his heart's content. And he's got a third kill, and still not a single ounce of damage or even a scratch on his paintwork. And he hasn't really put himself in any difficult positions just yet. He's used the terrain and the armor of the T-44 to allow him to take the shots when he needs to take the shots. And you can see he's constantly looking for new targets. His head is on a swivel all the time, and he knows who to go for and who not to go for. He knows that the SPIC is not the biggest threat. It's going to pound shots on him, as we just saw there, but that KV-4 is. So he goes in for the kill on the KV-4, and he gets another top alpha roll with this tank. And this poor KV-4 is now in a world of pain because he hasn't got the mobility or the turret traverse, and Soul Trader can just take him out at his leisure, which is really clever play from Soul Trader. He could have gone after the SPIC, the tank that was going to give him less pain, but he knew the KV-4 was the bigger target, and he used his mobility to maneuver himself into a position where he could take out the biggest threat. Now, we're just over halfway through the game. It's a supremacy game, and the red team have got all the cap points. They're only 200 away, but it's 3 against 2. The Centurion is now doomed, to be fair. And Soul Trader is in a great position to just take out this Carnarvon, which he does. And it's a win. It's a great win. Soul Trader was right up on the front line. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the Mastery Ace. It's a shame because I thought he put in a really good performance there and thoroughly deserved it. I'm sure you'll agree. Soul Trader played that really well, and it was a pleasure to watch. Now, next up we have Globernaut in the M41-90, which is a premium tank on the German line, based on the M41 Walker Bulldog, and it's a light tank, as you can see. The armor isn't the best in the world, but it's a light tank. It's got good mobility, it's got a great mantlet, and it's got reasonable armor. It's got the armor you would expect from a light tank. Now, the interesting stats about this tank is that it's actually got the best penetration for a tier 8 light tank at 182. The damage is only 240 alpha roll, which is the third best, and its DPM is only 2253, which again is the third best. But what it lacks in armor and amazing alpha rolls is that mobility and the best aim time of any tier 8 light tank. And as you can see here, what Globonaut does is get it into a great position to rain top alpha on its targets. And that is what he does the entire game. He is just rolling close to the top alpha on the targets that are presented to him. Now, we're less than 2 minutes into the game. Already, he's managed to cause a 600 and something damage, and he's all over the place. He's been all over this map apart from down the bottom, and he's really getting involved. Now, the other thing that you need to note, this is probably one of the bravest players I've seen. He has gone out with absolutely no consumables. None. Not a single one. Not even adrenaline. Well, he doesn't need the adrenaline. The reload and the aim time is spectacular on this. Okay, maybe it would have been better to have a repair kit, but this is how he plays the game. He's rough and ready. And to be fair, so far he hasn't really needed it. He's been causing a pain to the Reds. He hasn't really needed to use any consumable. Now he's going to punish the T-43 for sticking his nose out too far. And this is the glorious thing about this game and how Globonaut is playing it. He has been literally all over the place so far. He's now going to rain fire down on the Centurion 1. He's gone. He's now got 3 tanks in the space of 3 minutes. That's 1 a minute. This DPM on this tank is spectacular, especially when you play it like this, which is aggressively. Now, okay, Globonaut's been ultra aggressive with no consumables, but he's not taking unnecessary risks. He's getting the tanks into great positions on the front line to cause maximum damage. Now, I'm not saying you have to be ultra aggressive all the time. Of course you don't. He's being ultra aggressive, but he's not taking unnecessary risks. He's putting the tank in a good position every time, which is why he's got 3 tank kills and assisted greatly. Now, I think this is the best part of this game. He completely ignores the AMX and goes into what appears to be the kill on the AT-15, but it's not, because now he completely ignores the AT-15, drawing the AMX to him. The AT-15 can't do anything. He's trying his best to get round, he's trying his best to do this, and this allows Globonaut to focus on the AMX. Now, the AMX is by far the bigger threat because of his mobility. Yes, when he's on the long reload, he's no longer a threat. But watch this. The AT-15 is completely out of the game. This is just a perfect move. Okay, some would argue Globonaut got away with this. He got a bit lucky. I don't think he did. I think this is just ideal gameplay. He is sucking in the AMX, who was on a full hit point pool. He is toyed with him, and now he's been left with the very slow and cumbersome British TD. And what does he do? You would normally think, great, let's just get stuck in and finish him off. But he runs away, which totally confuses the poor old AT-15. And now Globonaut is just running away, not for his life. He is actually putting as much distance between him and the AT-15, so the AT-15 has absolutely no idea what's going to happen next. And it's great to see that Globonaut's team is giving him full support here. And most people would say, what is he doing? He's being a complete and utter muppet. But he's not. And this shows the difference between novice gameplay and gameplay of an experienced player. Globonaut knows that he can try and get round to do something to this AT-15. Now he knows that the AT-15 is going to do either A, go to the base, or B, chase after him. And there he is. He's heading for the base. He knows that Globonaut is gone that way. And this is where Globonaut is sucking in another tank. So the AT-15 now is behind cover, which means he can't shoot. But Globonaut can still rain fire upon him. And Globonaut's got to be careful. And as I said earlier, he's been aggressive, but he hasn't taken unnecessary risks. He's only down to 145 hit points. He's not a one-shotter, really. It's going to be a two-shot. And by far, the AT-15 is nowhere near a one-shot for Globbernaut. But he's taking his time. Now the AT-15, bless him, knows where Globbernaut was going and doesn't know what he can do. He tries to reverse himself behind that cover, takes it a bit too wide, and he's opened the door for Globbernaut to finish him off. And this is what he's now going to do. He's now just going to sit behind this poor old AT-15 and finish him off. Now the AT-15 hasn't played badly, but there's not much you can do when you've got a player of this caliber. What Globbernaut has done in the last few minutes of this game is, in my opinion, almost perfect. The way he suckered in that AMX, the way he then ran away and then re-suckered in the AT-15 is just perfection. It really is. And the way he has handled this tank is just a masterclass, which is why I said it's Globbernaut's masterclass. A great game, fantastic and exciting, and a thoroughly deserved mastery. 4,250 damage, 5 kills. That was a fantastic game and thoroughly deserving of a mastery. If you look at what he's done on the efficiency, he has hit every tank. He has actually caused damage to every single red tank, and that is why he got the mastery, which was thoroughly deserved. I have not seen such an entertaining game for a long time, and I'd like to express my thanks and gratitude to both Soul Trader and Globbernaut for allowing me to share these games with you. And I'm sure you'll agree with me. Both of the matches were thoroughly entertaining, and both players handled the tanks exceptionally well. Thanks, guys. And as I said at the beginning of the video, if you would like to have your replays shown on my channel, by all means, drop me an email at fujitsblitz@gmail.com. I'd love to show your clips too. Until the next time, have fun out there and happy tanking. Hey, I've been Fujit and you've been great. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And I'd love if you would press subscribe. Who knows, we can do some more. By all means, drop me comments, tell me what can be improved, and tell me what you'd like to see. I really love to know. Anyway, until the next time, guys, happy tanking.